You've dismissed all toxic people from your life. Did you? Well, great for you, congratulations. Give me a moment here. Hi there, I'm Anne-Katrin and I'm occasionally awake. I'm here to help you inspire your awakenings, heal yourself and reawaken your life. Welcome and welcome back to my channel. Today let's talk about the 10 signs that don't guarantee that you are acing personal development and spiritual growth. Both personal development and spirituality can come with certain ideas of the better, the right way to live. Certain ideas of the ideal experience, of the perfect way to reach personal mastery or enlightenment can keep us prisoner to outer expectations of the right way to live, while disregarding our own personal, individual notions of what freedom means to us, of what purpose and fulfillment mean to us. Not every conceptual ideal fulfilled is a true, honest indicator of your personal success and happiness and fulfillment. The dominant discourse on how to achieve success in these areas might go together with your personal setup, with your personal dreams and values and preferences, or it might not. So any of the points following might be a sign that you are actually acing personal development and spiritual growth. But they are not automatically a guarantee, because not even personal development and spirituality can provide one truth and one right way for everybody. So now let's dive right into the 10 signs that might not guarantee that you are acing personal development and spiritual growth. Number 1, you have forgiven everyone. There can be a tendency in spiritual communities to value forgiveness as an indication for spiritual evolution. And indeed, depending on the definition of forgiveness, forgiving the people that have hurt us can absolutely be an indicator of personal growth. I personally love Oprah's definition of forgiveness. Forgiveness means giving up the hope that the past could have been any different. However, forgiving is not simply a word. It's a feeling. It's an internal process. It's possible to skip the process, speak the words, and think you're done, without doing the emotional integration necessary that paves the way for an authentic release of painful emotions and old narratives that are associated with the people and experiences that have hurt us. In short, forgiveness cannot be forced. And trying to force it or skipping the internal process necessary in order to check this spiritually acclaimed box of having forgiven everyone successfully might be missing the mark. Don't try to forgive for forgiveness' sake. Do it for your own sake. Do it for your own peace. And allow that process to take time. Number 2, you've dismissed all toxic people from your life. Did you? Well, great for you, congratulations. Give me a moment here. Toxicity has become quite the buzzword. However, most toxic people might not actually have a toxic personality, but display certain toxic patterns, toxic behaviors in certain contexts and or in certain relationships that trigger these patterns. I personally reserve the label for a toxic person for psychopaths and narcissists, for example, like hard knock cases. In no way is this meant as an excuse for any physically, mentally, or emotionally harming behavior. In many cases, however, toxic behavior is not intended to be harmful, but to self-preserve. What this perspective does imply is that not everyone who triggers your own defense mechanisms or makes you feel uncomfortable is necessarily a toxic person. Also, behavior that is labeled toxic is often reciprocated, meaning that in an interaction with two people, person A's reactive behavior might trigger person B and cause them to act out their old patterns in return. That might even lead to a vicious cycle of reactivity in which both parties reenact their patterns that are perceived as toxic by the other. And in some cases, the more spiritual thing to do than releasing all toxic people from your life might be to look behind the patterns that you have experienced and reflect on how you might have played a part in that interaction. Again, what I'm talking about is non-abusive contexts in which we might rather quickly come to the conclusion that a certain person is simply not good for us and dismiss them as a toxic person without ever looking behind how the interactional patterns involved our own responsibility in how patterns and how toxicity might have played out. I'm so glad you're here right now. So if you enjoy this, please make sure to like and subscribe to become occasionally awake with me. Number 3, you're successful and making lots of money. You could very well be successful and rich and still feel emotionally and spiritually depleted. On the other hand, you could live with not a lot of money and still be connected to your heart, your soul, and your intuition, and still live a spiritually enriched life. Being spiritual and having lots of money are simply not connected in the way many people think. However, neither are they a contradiction. It is still a prevalent notion among many people that being spiritual and making a lot of money don't go together. That's just not true. If channeled in the right way, money can be a 3D reflection of spiritual abundance. But it doesn't need to be. True spirituality is connected to unity, to the idea that we are all connected. And that unity can be enhanced and multiplied in many ways through the abundant vessel that money provides. Number 4, you're planning the living daylights out of your day. Okay, so you're in control, you got the overview, you know what's going to happen from sunrise to dawn every day, 5 months in advance. However, it might be a hyper-focused approach on planning that might keep you from perceiving your creative impulses. I mean, planning is great, I get it. And over-planning might indeed very successfully get you to reach all of your goals. Leaving just a little blank space here and there, however, might get you beyond your conscious goals and closer to the life that only your intuition, your heart and your soul can guide you towards. Number 5, you never experience intense emotions such as anger or sadness. There is a difference between regulating and sitting with your intense emotions and not allowing yourself to feel them. Especially in spiritual communities, there can be an idea about the absence of intense emotions as an indication for enlightenment. However, it might also be a sign of emotional numbness and dissociation, and sometimes the lines of perception are blurred. I've heard several spiritual teachers that are considered enlightened and/or that have experienced near-death experiences say that they might still experience intense emotions, and that the number one thing that has changed for them is how they address these emotions. Number 6, you don't experience fear anymore. This might be a sign of progress, depending where you're coming from, or it might be a sign that you are not challenging yourself in a way that helps you move beyond your current comfort zone. I've heard many personal development and spiritual teachers say that they still experience fear. They simply do not take that as an indication to back off. That's the difference. Some of them might even take fear as an indicator for the direction of utmost growth and expansion. I am scared of doing X, so that is an indication that I am meant to do X in order to get ahead, in order to grow and reach the next level. So maybe your indicator for spiritual and personal growth might not be to not experience fear anymore, but to feel the fear and do it anyway. Number 7, you're always in a great mood. Well, that is amazing, as long as you don't employ coping mechanisms in order to get and/or stay there. Here's a simple way to check the source of your happiness. Are you experiencing an intrinsic positive mood that is fueled by a feeling of love and connection for yourself and others, and by motivation and curiosity towards the goals and projects you are pursuing in your everyday life? Or might your sense of happiness be an extrinsic product you invested in with shopping, substances, media distraction, or other coping strategies in order to get away from that mood you'd rather not be in? Number 8, you're proud and persistent about a set of spiritual rules you're following. Such rules could be related to the personal practices and values of a guru or a teacher that you follow. Whatever rules you might be following that were set up by somebody else, I want to invite you to take a closer look at why it's important to you to follow them. Maybe you've had your awakening to the matrix and woke up to all the ways in which you had made societal standards and outer expectations your own preferences. Turning to spiritual rules or teachers and gurus instead might be a way of reproducing the old learned reactivity to other people's expectations. We all seek orientation and guidance in some form or another. And if we've never learned to follow our own internal guidance and intuition, then we might feel prompted to keep following other people's guidance, even after turning to spirituality and personal development. And that's wonderful as long as it is enhancing our personal sense of integrity, of discernment, and of freedom. However, when open guidance turns into limiting rules that leave little space for our intuition to speak and be heard by us, then the degree to which we manage to stick to those rules might not necessarily add to our personal development score. Number 9. You've checked off the entire modern spirituality and personal development bucket list. Well, first, congratulations. You've successfully traveled the world, either built your own tiny house from sweat, recycled materials, and dedication, or at least lived in a van for a year. You've done all the retreats, yoga, breathwork, dance, silence, ayahuasca. Cool! Again, every single one of these points might very well be in absolute sync with your heart, your soul, with your intuition. All of these experiences you chose from the catalog might have been at the heart of your personal fulfillment. Some of our deepest desires or highest expressions of self, however, might not be in the catalog of modern spirituality and personal development. Let's use that catalog for some beautiful inspiration and experiences and trying new things. And every now and then, let's close it and listen to our desires beyond the contents of the catalog. Number 10, you've had your one spiritual awakening and now you're done. No, you're not. Just like life is cyclical, your own evolution is. We unfold in spirals, and coming full circle in one process often means starting back at square one in level 2. And level 2 is going to present us with more challenges, more potential, more insights, a higher level of understanding, and with more awakenings. And that is a great thing, because what this also means is that your next awakenings might be just around the corner. So these were the 10 signs that might indicate, but don't guarantee, that you are acing personal development and spiritual growth. As a conclusion, I simply want to encourage you to be your own kind of spiritual. Listen to your own intuition. Tune into your own guidance, rather than following the spiritual protocol for everybody. You do you. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. This video is related to the awakenings to the ego and to the conscious self. If you want more insights on the 4 types of awakenings and how to experience them in your life occasionally, visit me at occasionallyawake.com to inspire your awakenings. Bye.